All right, we just, continue to just watch a football team get better every day. I mean, it's just three pretty tough practices going into week 2 of fall camp, and just watching these guys continue to hold each other accountable, push through. Energy level's been great. Guys are getting better, getting plenty of reps. We've got a few little injuries that we got. It just comes with football. Gives the next man up mentality. Guys are ready to go. Thank goodness we've been getting a lot of reps. I mean, it's just, you put guys in there and you just keep moving forward. And so, just a quick injury update. CJ should be back in about 2 weeks, we're anticipating. Had just a knee sprain. Austin Capps, same thing. Something that's been bothering him a little bit, but he should be back by the first game. Colin Jackson, Colin may be 3.5 weeks or so. It's a reoccurring injury, but from the same knee, but he'll be fine. Just going in and cleaning a few things up, so we should get him back as well. We opted to go ahead and do all 3 of these now. We keep them from lingering where we're at in fall camp, especially with all these other guys behind them getting reps. Pac-Man's looking great. Had an interception right here in a 2-minute drill today. I know he was in green today. A lot of it is just some of the precautionary and just making sure that they understand when you're in a green jersey, you're not hitting and nobody's hitting you. But he's getting some good work in. TJ Hammonds, we expect TJ back any day. It was a concussion, but we expect him back. Nothing that we hadn't already been through his protocol. So Noah Gatlin, we know Noah's status. We've talked about that. But Colton Jackson was in a yellow today, and just from a rest standpoint, from a foot injury that he's had. But we just pulled him back today, and Brito Tutt, same thing with Brito. But outside of that's where we're at. And I know you're this far into fall camp. You got 10 practices in, 11 practices today. It's getting a lot of reps. The guys are getting better, and I'm excited to get back out there tomorrow a little bit. We'll have some live situations tomorrow that we'll go through. We'll pull back on Friday, get ready for Saturday scrimmage. Be ready to go for Saturday. With that, I'll open up for questions.
Raise your hand, we'll get it back to you.
So are all these surgeries and are like arthroscopic?
Yeah, it's going in, cleaning it up. They should be back in a couple of weeks, is what they're telling us.
Any of the backups stand out? They got extra work with them now?
Well, it was good to have Hudson Henry out there today. He had been back the last couple of days, but he was in full go today. So that was good to get him back rolling. Chase Harrell continues to impress us at that tight end position. Grayson Gunner's having a really good camp as well, Blake Kern. So those are some guys that are really stepping out. We were able to move Myron Cunningham back to left tackle, and Kirby was in, as well as Dalton Wagner. So those are guys who are getting some first team reps in there, and Shane back at right tackle, right guard.
Who's working first team right tackle?
Kirby.
Icon. Okay. With the quarterback competition, I mean, we look out there, we see Starkle's big arm and stuff, but who's moving the ball? Who's moving the ball down the field?
Well, it depends on what period you're really talking about. I mean, there's different periods, situations, and one guy may have a little bit better period than the other, but in a 2-minute situation, right here at the end, we had an opportunity to bring the ball down, and both guys were leading their team down, and we were unable to convert the 2-minute situation offensively. So I'd say, whether you lead the ball down, lead your drive or not, lead your team down the field, is can you get them in the end zone? And they both showing, all of them are showing flashes. All 3, 4 of them are showing great flashes. But it's consistency is what we're looking for.
You just mentioned Gunter and Harrell. Which one of those guys would be first team right now?
We'd probably open up with Gunner, with Grayson right now. But again, whether it's first, he may get the first play and Chase is in there for the second play. I mean, it really probably a lot depends on the play.
Do you anticipate another lengthy scrimmage? You think you're going to go out on the grass, or how does that all stand? Can you talk about that?
Well, we won't be on the stadium this week. probably be one more week before we get back out there, or get out there. I do not anticipate it going as long. We got a lot of our former players that are coming in, so our former player barbecue, so we're excited to have our former players back in town and being around our players, our team. I don't anticipate it being 170 plus plays. I mean, we're gonna well excess of 100 plays, but we've got it kind of by design, a lot of more of a situational. I want to see what we're doing first down, playing second down. We're doing a lot of red zone work this week, some short yardage work this week, and so that'll all carry over to Saturday in the scrimmage as well.
The takeaway part of things, it seemed like the defense might have been getting a lot early on, but Joe came in here and gave us the stats, which didn't seem like it was as bad. But it looks like the last couple of days, the offense has not had as many takeaways. So the give and the take of all that, do you feel better about your ability to not turn the ball over and force more turnovers?
Well, we're getting a lot of reps. That's one thing, and I mean, you can do the numbers, do the math, and all that. And really, it's the way I look at it, it's one play right there. And did you turn the ball over or not? Yes or no? And we don't want to have any turnovers. That's our goal, is to have 0 turnovers. Defensively's goal is to have 3 turnovers. So somebody's coming off that field not winning a belt. All right. In the last 2 days, when the offense doesn't have any turnovers, that's a win. And I thought we looked as good offensively yesterday in some of the red zone and protecting the football as we've looked since we've been here. Today was a little bit different. We had 3 turnovers today, and 2 of them were in big moments. And so, defense won the belt today. It's great competition. That's what we want. It was a great teaching times and an opportunity to whether in a team meeting, pull the situation back up and talk and what to do in those situations. So, I know we're getting a lot of reps, but bottom line, if you turn the ball over, you're not going to win too many football games. If you can create turnovers, you're going to win a lot of football games.
Chad, do you recall what those turnovers were, by who, and also, I don't know if you mentioned Greg Brooks, but he looked like he's in a soft cast.
Yeah, Greg hyperextended his thumb. He's back out there. We kept him out, I believe it was Monday, Tuesday. He got a little bit of work yesterday. He was in green today. And then as far as the turnovers, I don't one happened in a 9 versus 9. I don't know who the quarterback was at that point. And right here at the end, I know Ben had one, and I don't know who the third one was. I think it was Nick. So I think all 3 of them. I think John Stephen had one, Ben had one, and Nick had one.
Yeah, Chad, kind of a 2-parter. You know the longest overtime game you've been involved in as a college coach, whether it was an assistant or a head coach. I guess in response to the A&M-LSU game, they changed the overtime rule. I think it's after the 4th overtime, you just put the ball on the 2, and you got to go for 2, and no more on the 25. Sort of what you thought about that?
Well, I think the longest overtime that I've been in is just, I think we had a double overtime one time. But referencing to your last question there, obviously for player safety, that's the number one thing. And when you look at the extent of the overtime game that happened last year that caused this rule to come into effect, guys are getting well in excess of 200-something snaps in a ball game. That's pretty tough as a team. So I think what you're going to see is you better have some really good 2-point plays.
Have you put more emphasis on 2-point plays in practice?
We have. We do it every year, but we've definitely grew our library, I guess you could say.
Like how big is the library?
I think we're going to probably take in 3 or 4 a game, but maybe a little bit more than that. But it's stuff that we'll work and continue to add to it. But I think that's probably the biggest thing you'll see across college football is coaches will have more of those 2-point situations built into their game plans.
With O'Grady, before he got hurt, how would you see him respond since running with 3rd team? And has he been still running 3rd team, or was he back to 1st team?
No, I think yesterday, actually the last couple of days, he's been running back with the 1s, and he's responded. I think that's been the biggest thing that we've seen. We felt like he would, so he responded, and I think he got caught up in a one-on-one situation out there, and got his legs tangled up. And that's kind of what happened there. But he'll be back. He'll be ready to go. He'll be better than ever.
Coach, there were some players think have made the biggest jump since the start?
Wow. Man, there's a lot. And just watching the development of these guys, you know, when you see, obviously we know the guys that we're expecting to be the big time players. Now, when you talk about Sosa and how disruptive he was in the spring and where he is right now, he's at a different level. So, which is great. It's great to see TJ Smith taking those freshmen underneath his wing after practice and giving them extra work. TJ, you know, we know Scooter, what he's doing and what he means to this football team. And you know, right now we're trying to limit what he's doing. I mean, he's doing so much, but we want the development of guys behind him. I would say Hayden Henry. Hayden is probably he and Bumper and Grant Morgan. You know, you see some great things out of those guys as well. Greg Brooks, we talked about Greg. You know, and again, I'm going to miss a few guys, but Bo Limmer up front, Myron Cunningham. We've seen big jumps out of Myron. You know, on the back end, Cam Curl has been very consistent and steady. Joe Fouché is probably playing his best. He had his best scrimmage Saturday that I've seen since he's been here. So you've really seen him take big jumps. Again, why? Well, what's credit to that? It's credit to the way these guys worked. They worked this summer. They worked their tail off this summer in the player-led workouts and holding each other accountable. And then just their love for each other, their love for their team. And then obviously the reps that they're getting right now in practice. There is no downtime. When you jog off the field, you're over there grabbing a quick shot of water, and you got to get right back out on the field. And so they're getting phenomenal reps. Wide receiver, I think today, TQ Jackson is really, he's got elite speed. And I made a couple really good catches today. Trey Knox, his birthday's today, had an unbelievable day today. This is 2 days in a row that he's really been put together 2 good practices. He hasn't been as consistent as I want him to be during camp, and we've challenged him a little bit, but that comes with being a freshman. But we're you know, you see those things, and I'm pleased with all our quarterbacks. So again, I'm going about every position, but those are some guys that really have stood out. That at corners, Busta is he's playing really well right now, and so is Jock Wells.
I've got 2 parts here. One, overall, the running game. Do you feel like you're going to make a big step up with the running game, and why? And then you went in shorts today. Was that just already planned? Just kind of take a little off of them today?
Well, we've been live yesterday, and so today we pull back in shorts. We'll be live back tomorrow. And then as far as our run game, we expect it to take a big step forward. If anything, we should be more effective in the passing game, which should open up the run game better. We've got some very talented running backs. Back on your original question about who's really stood out, I think Devwall Whaley's had a great camp. Chase Hayden is really catching our attention as well. And obviously we know with Rakeem, we want consistency out of Rakeem, and we've seen that. So with those caliber running backs, you know, that we have, and developing our offensive line, that's an area that we expect to see a better, you know, production out of.
Kind of touched on this a while ago, Chad, but of the freshman receivers, those 4 guys, how many do you see playing a meaningful role this year?
I would see, you know, if not all 4, 3 of the 4, you're going to see those guys playing.
You mentioned Bolin earlier. What has he done to stand out? And then are there other freshman offensive linemen that have stood out to you?
Yeah, Ricky Stromberg, Brady Latham. These are guys, Dylan Rathke, these are guys that come in with a little bit of an edge, you know, and a little bit of grit about them. I've been really pleased watching Ricky. Ricky is, we got to get some more weight on him, but very, very athletic, extremely athletic. He's got a mean streak to them all. They all do. But Bo Limmer is another one. You know, we're working Bo at center. And so watching him and his development, again, a long way away. But man, we're excited about these young guys that are coming on. Again, they're getting great reps.
Hey, Chad, is there specifically, what are you looking for out of the scrimmage, you know, from 1 to 2? And this seems like a time of year you're always reading about guys getting hurt across the country. What's line you gotta walk as a coaching staff? You wanna have good practices, you wanna be physical, but you wanna take care of guys. How do you balance that?
Well, I think, back to what we just said a second ago, we try to teach the tempos of practice that we go through. And we always are showing video of guys taking care of each other in practice. If we can practice full speed and know what the tempo is, you don't have to bring guys to the ground every play. And you can't do that. Real estate, you can't do that anyways. And so we have to learn to practice the right way. And there's been such an emphasis for our coaching staff on teaching our young men how to practice the right way. Because you do that, you get a lot of stuff done. It's practice 10. You only get so many opportunities to get this football team ready for the season. And once the season gets here, we all know how fast it goes. You're really at 2 good practices a week. And so trying to develop a young man during the course of the season is really hard. You don't have the time. So right now is the time and the challenge and the grind of camp, and that's what we're doing. Football's a contact sport. Injuries are part of the game. But when we do practice and understand how to practice the right way and stand off the ground, those injuries are less likely to happen.
And the scrimmage, like specifically
Yeah.
what you're looking to do?
Well, this again, consistency in all positions. I would like to come out of this scrimmage with a really good indication on both sides of the ball of who we're going to be going into that first game week and start 2 weeks out, really repping those guys and getting them ready to go. That's our goal as a staff. Hopefully we'll get there, and we'll have one more scrimmage. It'll be that following Wednesday, but that's our goal right now.
I think you added something like 53 new guys since you got here. When you look at when you first got here till now, what do you think have been the biggest improvements in terms of depth in those situations?
Well, I think you look at all positions and you see we had to address speed, and we did, and we're faster. We're not where we need to be, but we're getting faster. We've addressed depth both in the offense and defensive lines. You've seen that. We're going to continue to grow and develop those guys that we have on our roster. And so the developmental part of that, now that we've created some depth, the developmental part is, how do we develop guys? How do you develop them to keep growing into the player you want them to be? A player that's a freshman is not going to look the same as he will when he's a senior. But we've got a plan in place that by the time they're a senior, we're going to see their absolute best football. And so how are we doing that? It's through our off-season development. It's through our summer training. It's through what we're doing right now. And these guys getting active reps and seeing themselves. They're being coached. It's one thing to sit and watch another guy take a rep and then watch it on film. But when it's you and you're getting the same amount of reps as our ones are getting, that says something.
Which after that final Wednesday scrimmage, is that when you plan to make sometime soon after that determination on the starting quarterback? Is that something you'll announce or wait till game week, or how you plan?
Yeah, I'm sure we'll probably wind up announcing it at some point. We've got 2 really good opportunities ahead of us, and we've got some live situations that we'll get into. We'll transition to afternoon workouts next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Try to get them ready for the start of school, and then we'll go back Thursday and Friday to morning practices, and then get ready for our mock game that Saturday. So, we'll eventually announce it just at the right time.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank y'all.